Tonight we are going to be doing some Mabinogi fanfiction reading. This one's called Mavi's Memory. Based off of a game called Mabinogi. Genre, RPGs, romance, and action. If you end up being shit on, Effie has but 2 words for you. Do better. That's, not inaccurate, actually. Without further ado, Phyrion ran through the forest of Karu. There were 7 stone imps after him. He knew that he could not take any of them on without help. He had dirty blonde hair and green eyes. He was 16 years old. He had been through a lot. He knew if he continued to run, he would run out of breath. He turned around and prepared to fight. Then, out of nowhere, an arrow hit a stone imp. It did not pierce the stone imp, but it sure did distract them. Phyrion dashed through the stone imps and stopped. Cracks filled through 4 stone imps. The imps turned towards Phyrion, but was hit and distracted again. This time, Phyrion saw where the arrow came from. There was a person with a robe on. He could not make out their face. His swords turned fire red and slashed at every imp stone, and cut them like cheese. Capital them for some reason. Then he started to walk towards the cloaked person. The person grabbed the hood off the robe and took it off. It was an elf girl. Her hair was red, and her eyes were blue. Thanks for the help. I didn't expect there to be that many, Phyrion said. No problem, she stuttered. Only hearing Flareon? Yeah. Accurate. Oh, is this supposed to be Fire On? She stuttered. My name is Fire On or Phyrion 500. Fire for short. Really thanks, Fire said. Hey, Sai. Pokemon X Mabinogi fanfic? That might actually not be that bad. There is a Persona cross Mabinogi fanfic that I found. And no problem, you seem to be a good swordsman, Hay said. You seem to be a good distractor, Fire said, laughing. Hay puckers her cheek. So she's sucking in her cheeks? Like... Tay, it seems you are a little new. I have a few friends that can help you get better and teach you skills to destroy things. Like the stone imps. What do you say? Fire said. Sure, but why help a stranger you just met? Tay said. Well, for first, you saved my life by distracting them, and 2, I couldn't leave someone around here defenseless, m'lady. M'lady. Fire said. She once again puckered her face off Phyrion. Sucking in her cheek. Wait, doesn't one normally puff them? I don't know. He said pucker, so when I imagine cheeks puckering, it would be like inward. I don't know. Listen, Lumi, it's a Wattpad fanfiction. Don't question the word choice that much. But yeah, have a good rest of your night at work. I hope we get to see you again if you get free. Don't do that, or I'll call you Milord, she said. Phyrion sighed. They made it back to Dunbarton. Spelt wrong. It's a fortified town with walls around it. It's a great merchant town. Phyrion jumped off and held out his hand to help her off. You've reached the end of the published parts. Last updated June 15th, 2016. Big fucking rip. I wanted to see the romance between the Wish Pokemon and Milady. Not all of these are like Mabinogi the game. A lot of these are also just like based off the adventures of Merlin and the Treasure Hunter. No description. Just an American flag. The 2 aces was out and about while their Milesian was... They owned the Milesian. Just their pet Milesian. The 2 aces was out and about while their Milesian was heading their way to them as they are on the search for Tarlock. They are standing around Core Village, viewing their surroundings. Merlin wasn't being grateful being there, seeing that the climate here contained high humidity, being unbearable. It didn't help it when the treasure hunter, who is unaffected by this climate, blabbering about his time here in Core, investigating different ancient ruins, digging up artifacts, and selling them to Voight. I hope this person is a child. I really hope this person is a child. Don't you ever shut up about telling your so-called adventures for one moment? Whined Merlin, feeling his hair sticking to his sweaty body. Oh, his sweaty body. I recall you having to gloat about your achievements of being the legend or some sort, he replied, giving the wizard a grin. In defense, I am a legend. I'm the Merlin, the greatest wizard ever. Seeing the shorter man laugh made him mad. If you don't believe me, how about we go sparring? Having a feeling that this is a bad idea, but at the same time, he doesn't want the taller male to feel too righteous. If you put your money where your mouth is. Are you saying we should set a bet? Sounds good to me, Merlin smirked. If you win, all the taxes of my services will be forgotten. Merlin's face lightened up by hearing this. But if I win, all of what you owe me and future needs, the debt that you are in will be doubled. I feel like I'm having a stroke. I know it's not me, but it, you know. Alright, treasure hunter, you're on, but I won't go easy on you. Both aces stood a few feet apart from each other. The treasure hunter reaches for his guns, his handy Colts, and pulls them out of their holster. Merlin goes to put on his Merlin knuckles. Instead, he pauses. Oh crap, the wizard broke into a cold swear. Oh my god, it's like I'm playing Saga all over again. Raising an eyebrow. What's holding you, Merlin? You chickening out of this already known victor's fight? My knuckles. Where are they? He searched all over himself, in his pockets, bags, anywhere that he could have put them. What? Questioning the panicked man, the treasure hunter put his guns back, walking to him. What about your knuckles? Merlin stomped on the ground. My precious knuckles are missing. Where could it be? Calm down, you're being too naive. Pinky! He glanced around. Huh? Pinky? A familiar noise came closer to them. Pinky! The monkey looks up at the treasure hunter, holding a huge gold pouch. Pinky sees the angry Merlin and runs behind the treasure hunter. Eek! Merlin's face turned red, glaring at the monkey. You money-making beast. You sold my knuckles, didn't you? The wizard made his way to Pinky, but the treasure hunter held him back. Calm down. Pinky, what did you do to Merlin's knuckles? Pinky explained to the treasure hunter as the mighty Merlin watched, being dumbstruck. After having a conversation with his companion. Hate to say this, Merlin, getting up and looking directly to the wizard. It seems like Pink used your knuckles to make some quick cash to get us supplies as we search for your lost child. We can survive without food or any supply, but without my knuckles. He jerks away from the shorter man. Do you know how valuable they are? How many times I use them in many victorious battles? I will tell you, that equipment is a part of me, and your pay took it and used it for bread money. The smaller man ruined to the side, talking to himself. We need to get his stuff back. He looked up and walks to him. Stop acting like a baby. We'll get your precious so-called weapon back. Are they not weapons? Why would he say it like that? He reassures the wizard. You're going to charge me for this, aren't you? The treasure hunter smiles and replies, my services are never free. Just hearing that, Mad the great wizard worried even more. Fine, but this, he grabbed the bag from the monkey's hands, is mine. Pinky frowns when Merlin took his gold. Come on, Merlin. Pinky should retrace his steps so he can get your knuckles back. You've reached the end of published parts. That was a work of high art. That was everything that I was hoping we would find when we started reading fanfiction. Some of these are like parts of series, and I don't know if the prequels actually exist. It's very Wattpad to just have like a story that's like the middle of a series that you never wrote the previous books for. Why does this one have like an Overwatch background? Like, please. Tag Mabinogi. Overwatch background. I feel like this is promising. In the world of Mabinogi, you can be anything you can think of. Like a elf, giant, or human, and you can shapeshift. I mean, correct. I don't know about anything you can think of. This is a spirit for a male sword. His name is Blade because of the blades on his wings. He is one kind of spirit. You've reached the ends of published parts. Was he like trying to write a guide and just gave up after 2 entries? Like, here's the races, you can shapeshift, here's the spirit, his name is Blade. That concludes our Mabi tutorial. Have a good rest of your day. Win some and lose some. Mabinogi-based short story. Looks like it's a merchant story. And there's like the jousting thing in the background. Preface, an old little ditty of mine. Remember I had written it and went on the quest to find it. Hope you enjoy. Original preface. I just suddenly got the idea for this while commercing and decided to write it out. I haven't proofread it much, so it may be a little rough, and I did take some artistic license with the game, but overall, I hope you enjoy it. It is 3.5 pages in Word, but now without further ado, your feature presentation. Win Some and Lose Some by Rick of Ruari. My sweating hands grip the cart as I struggle uphill. A sudden creak sounded behind me, only adding to the annoyance. The left wheel always does that on inclines, something I have been needing to fix but always seem to forget to do. With one last surge of effort, I make it to the top of the biggest incline and suddenly stop. I let the handles of the cart, filled with precious trading goods, fall to the ground as I rub my aching muscles. I'm not too far from Telltown now. In fact, I'll probably be able to see it once I squeeze past the 2 cliffs that surround me now. I regret a little that I decided to push towards Telltown instead of taking a break at Lake Knee. I can still see the lake from my perch, and it looks even more tantalizing now. Time is money, I remind myself, trying to give my muscles a good reason for their pain. However, they don't seem to care much about that little tidbit of wisdom. The sound of running feet draws my attention to the ridge on my left, and I reflexively reach for my weapons. This is actually kind of well written so far. And I was so close too, I mutter, glancing above me for signs of trouble. 5 figures appear on the top of the hill, easily illuminated by the declining sun. I glance at the gap in the cliffs. I'm much too far from town to get help, and no one else is on the road. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight this one myself. I leave my cart on the ground and grab my knuckles strapped to my sides. They fit great. My hands have already worn into padding a little. It's only been 2 or 3 years since the weapons became popular, and I haven't trained as much as some others. However, in that short time, I've come to like the little things. In one-on-one, they can even surpass my trusty sword and shield, but I still have the ladder combo strapped to my back for fighting multiple enemies. The figure in the middle seems to grin as he looks down on me, but the distance is too great to be sure. I can easily see his next action, though, a raised sword. He's signaled his lackeys to advance. The 4 other figures start running down the mountainside, heading straight for me. In a split-second decision, I rush forward as well, wanting to put as much distance between the bandits and my good as I can. The distance between us quickly shrinks as the bandits leap off the small cliff, mere yards away. I use this time to prepare a heavy attack and unleash it on a bandit that just landed from jumping down the cliff. The blow connects beautifully, nearly knocking the bandit out in one shot. To finish the job, I leap towards the knave and drive my fist in a powerful overhead blow. He's definitely out now, but I have no time to celebrate my victory. The sound of charging mana rings in my ears as a mage imp decides to retaliate. I turn, but am too late to dodge the magic. The bolt of lightning deafens me for a second as the electricity crackles through the air, and then, an instant later, my body is rocked with pain. Even as the electricity dissipates, the pain still lingers. I hate fighting mages. As soon as the first blow hits, the mage is already charging another bolt, and despite the pain, I know I have to act fast. Summoning the will to fight on, I use the speed my knuckles provide to administer a dash punch that closes the distance and catches the mage completely by surprise. I seize the opportunity to deliver 3 quick jabs and finish the annoyance off with a spinning uppercut that blows him onto his back. He's not getting up for a while. With 2 opponents down, I survey the battlefield. I finally spot the last 2 bandits and discover they have already managed to make it to my cart and are busy picking through it. Wasting little time, I reach behind my shoulders and draw my sword and shield that are latched onto my back. Wasting little time, I reach behind my shoulders and draw my sword and shield that are latched onto my back. Bringing the shield up, I start to run with as much speed as I can muster and shield bash one of the bandits. The impact blows him away from the cart, and I immediately set up for a windmill. Not only does this knock the other bandit away, but my years of training allow me to hit the bandit that I already knocked down as well, which takes him out of the fight completely. As I get back up from my last maneuver, the last bandit lackey gets up as well. This close, it is easy to tell that he's a giant. His great hulk towering over me, and the angry look on his face does not bode well for me. I rush the bandit with my sword raised, but before I can get to him, his foot slams into the ground, and the shockwave nearly makes my feet buckle from underneath me. This is all the time he needs to run over and give me a few quick punches with his knuckled hands, and knocks me over after a 4th blow. Knowing hesitation could lose me my life, I struggle up and prepare a defensive stance. I barely manage to raise my shield in time, but I managed to successfully block the giant's next blow. I use this as an opening to deliver a couple slashes with my sword, which he stumbles away from after the second slash. This time, I raise my shield again, but the giant sees this and prepares a heavy blow. Seemingly duped, I wait for the bandit to attack, and like a bull, he rushes at me. He starts to enact his heavy smash when I sidestep and slash him with my own attack. This counterattack finishes him off, and I am left alone, not too far from my cart. Before I can breathe a sigh of relief, a voice cuts through the air. "Impressive, but you forgot about me." I turn around to see the bandit boss approaching smugly, his own sword already drawn. Seeing that he is the only one left, I place my sword and shield on my back and grab my knuckles. I just got zapped and punched, and Telltown is right through that pass. I am not going to let you just waltz up to me like I'm already beaten. "Are you?" he asks, mockingly. "We'll see about that, kid." The bandit boss raises his sword and starts running at me. And that's about all he was able to do. Pulling one fist back, I start charging energy for a focused fist, and just as the boss raised his sword to slash me, I spring towards him and nail him right in the gut. Coming up light on my feet, I kick the boss in the face and use the momentum to do it once again, in quick succession. Even as the bandit is reeling, I jump back into a flip, hitting him a 3rd time with my outstretched foot. I follow this up by running towards my opponent and jumping into the air, kicking him with both feet. This attack sends him flying, but I don't even give him the chance to get back up as I leap towards him with an overhead blow. He tries to get up again, but hit him with a charging strike that stuns him mid-stand. A spinning uppercut lifts him to his feet long enough for me to kick him away again. At last I jump towards him again and pin him to the ground, unleashing a flurry of punches. By the time I'm done, my rage is spent. The bandit boss has no strength to get up. After one last look around, I confirm that I am the last one standing, and I slide my knuckles into their straps and pick up my cart again. As I'm about to leave, I hear a raspy voice come from the bandit boss. "Who are you?" he asks, shakily. "Me?" I grin, though I doubt he can see it. "Oh, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Milesian who's trying to make a living." I start to roll my cart away, but stop after a few feet. Word of advice, never try to steal from a merchant again. You never know who it may be. With an air of finality, I trudge off, feeling pretty good about the outcome of the encounter. Sure, I wish it could have been avoided, but it's good to stretch the old fighting muscles every now and then. "What do you mean they're 1 down? When I left Dunbarton, they were 10 up at least, and probably going to get higher," I exclaimed, as Ringo gave me the bad news. "Just got a whole elephant caravan of that merchandise before you got here. Killed the price on them quite drastically," Ringo explains as he looks through my cart. Dumbfounded, I stand in silence as he drapes the cloth back over my goods and writes something on some papers in his hands. "You could keep them for a while. The market is bound to bounce back sometime. Tara's not too far away either," Ringo offers, trying to help. That's a whole nother day journey from here," I complain. Though, I know that's probably exactly what it'll do. "Them's the breaks in this business, Rick. You win some, you lose some," Ringo says, patting my shoulder once in understanding. I look at my cart and begrudgingly pick it back up. Just before I leave, Ringo offers one more piece of advice. You just gotta be quicker with these things. Even a couple minutes earlier and you would have made a great profit. Sullenly, I nod and slowly walk away into the city of Telltown. My left wheel lets out an ear-piercing creak and I huff in annoyance. Stupid bandits, I yell at the reddening sky and then continue walking, ignoring the curious stares that follow me into the city. End. That was actually pretty good. Comparatively, that was pretty good. It had some problems. Some of the grammar was a little off, but he did say that he never edited it, so.
And that's it for this video. Thank you guys for checking it out. I know it's a little bit different than what you were probably expecting. I will be back with more traditional channel content pretty soon. I am going to be re-recording Generations 11 and 12 and try to finish putting those up pretty soon. And I also have another miscellaneous Mabinogi video that I'm working on. As always, I would like to thank my patrons, Emmyjun and Sunflares, as well as a friend and supporter of the channel, Leo, and yeah, I couldn't do it without them. So I will catch you guys in the next one, and goodbye for now.